ask, these reports that you're talking about, is this what we've been hearing about in the media? Is this a new report that's been confirmed to the city? Where are you guys hearing this? And when will the city residents be informed of what the city knows at this
Well, I'm telling you what the city knows.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liberty Ledge. Today we're diving into a major story out of Chicago, and this one is sparking a lot of debate. Reports are coming out that under the direction of former President Donald Trump, the federal government was preparing to send a wave of federal agents into Chicago, including ICE and border control officers.
Well, I'm telling you what the city knows, right? And here's what we do know, that the federal government, under the direction of President Donald Trump, is preparing to send an expansive slew of federal agents to the city of Chicago. And whether it's border control, ICE agents, right, this part, which is the most upsetting, is that he has funded the ICE division of the government at a rate that is only second to the American United States government and the Chinese military. And that's dangerous, right? And so we are hearing that he plans to send these individuals to the city of Chicago this week as early as Friday. But let's be very clear what his ultimate motives are, though. He wants to send in federal troops. Make no mistake about it. He wants to send in the National Guard. He is looking to provocate, to justify his failures. And the fact of the matter is, it's disrespectful to law enforcement. Our police department has worked incredibly hard to drive down violence in the city of Chicago. This is not about violence reduction, because if it were, he would be making investments. And I can tell you what those investments have done thus far. 32% reduction in homicides. Shootings are down almost 40%. Shooting victims are down almost 40%. So this is about the militarization of cities. And in the city of Chicago, we're going to be very clear about our position to protect democracy, to protect Chicagoans, to protect our people.
Now, let me pause right there. Think about that for a second. Federal agents whose main responsibilities are immigration enforcement and border security, being deployed into a major U.S. city to handle local crime. That raises some big questions. Is this about crime reduction, or is it about something else entirely? According to the city's officials, Trump wasn't just sending a small contingent, he wanted to send in a large number of federal forces. The city heard this could start as early as Friday. And here's the part that really stood out to me. ICE, the division that would play a major role in this, had been funded at a level so high that it was only behind the U.S. military and the Chinese military in terms of resources. That's staggering, and here's where the controversy really deepens. City leaders are arguing this move wasn't about safety. They believe Trump's motives were political, that he wanted to escalate tensions, create conflict, and even set the stage for bringing in federal troops or the National Guard. Their point is clear. This wasn't about protecting Chicagoans. It was about optics and control. Now, let's talk numbers, because the city pushed back hard with facts. They pointed out that their police force had actually been making real progress. Homicides were down 32%. Shootings were down nearly 40%. Victims of gun violence were also down by almost 40%. If those numbers are accurate, that's a massive reduction in violence. And it tells a very different story than the one being pushed nationally. And this is where I want to give my opinion. Look, crime is serious. Any leader who takes steps to reduce violence deserves recognition. But parachuting in federal forces, especially those not trained for community policing, is not the same thing as supporting a city. If the federal government really wanted to help, they could invest in community programs, youth engagement, economic opportunities, and resources for law enforcement that actually work with the community. Militarizing American cities doesn't solve long-term issues. In fact, it often makes tensions worse. At the end of the day, this becomes a bigger issue about democracy and local governance. Do we really want a precedent where the federal government can just send troops or agents into any city, regardless of whether that city asked for it? Chicago officials made it clear they don't want this kind of militarization. They want to protect democracy, their city, and their people. And honestly, I agree with that stance. So here's the big takeaway. Yes, we need to address crime. Yes, we need safety in our cities. But we can't allow political motives to override local progress. And we absolutely shouldn't normalize the militarization of our streets as a first response. But I want to hear what you think. Do you believe Trump's push to send federal forces into Chicago was about crime reduction, or was it more about politics? And do you think cities should have the right to push back against this kind of federal intervention? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading and responding to as many as I can. And as always, if you enjoy these breakdowns and reactions, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.